Welcome into Sports Talk at the Stadium from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, where tonight the Gamecocks took down Texas A&M 30-24 to finally beat the Aggies. Two consecutive games in which Shane Beamer has taken that next step, has checked off that next box. Last time it was at Kentucky, beating the Wildcats in Lexington for his first SEC road win. And tonight, beating the Aggies, the first win for the Gamecocks over Texas A&M since they started playing one another once A&M joined the SEC. What a night it was at Williams-Brice Stadium. Of course, a huge crowd. It was a sellout. You had all the traffic related to the fair and to the ball game. There was electricity outside the stadium, and the fans certainly brought it in the stadium. And the Gamecocks added to the electricity right off the bat. A 100-yard kickoff return by Xavier Leggett, and the Gamecocks were off and running in the first 5 minutes of this ball game, thanks to turnovers by Texas A&M, an interception, a fumble. And 5 minutes in, the Gamecocks were up 17-0. And it looked like this thing was going to be on cruise control, but there was too much ball game left to be played, 55 minutes to be exact. And Texas A&M didn't panic. They went to work. They did what they do. They ran the football some with A-Chain. They threw the ball some with King. They used their big, though inexperienced offensive line some to push the Gamecocks around and create some running zones. So they eventually cut into the lead. The Gamecocks were up 17-0. The Aggies hit a couple of field goals to make it 17-6. By the end of the half, it was 17-14, and we had a real ball game. A touchdown pass by King got the Aggies to within 14 after a 2-point conversion with 2 minutes left in the half. And the Gamecocks didn't do much offensively in that first half. They only had 95 yards. But keep in mind, they had the kickoff return to start the game, so that took a possession out of their hands. And then they had short fields 2 other times. But outside of that, they really didn't move the ball much on offense either. So, it was anybody's ball game at halftime, and Texas A&M was getting the ball to start the second half, but they couldn't do anything. And South Carolina eventually knocked it into the end zone late in the third quarter, 3:25 to go. Marshawn Lloyd had a 19-yard touchdown run. It was a drive that started thanks to an A&M short punt, and that set up the Gamecock drive, 6 plays, 51 yards. And Lloyd had 31 of those yards, and there was a pass to Stogner for 20 yards from Rattler. Gamecocks go up 24-14 at that point. Then it was later in the third quarter, 27 seconds to go. Rattler was back to pass. He gets hit from the blind side. He fumbles. A&M returns it to the 24, and then eventually A-Chain, their outstanding running back, takes it in from 15 yards out. We go to the fourth quarter. It's a 24-21 ball game. And then to add to the drama, the starting quarterback for A&M, King, he gets hurt with 12:54 to go in the ball game. They bring in the freshman Weichman, and that did not help A&M's cause. I mean, he's a talented player, and he's going to be an excellent player for them. But, this was a tough situation to throw a true freshman into, and A&M really couldn't get anything going offensively the rest of the ball game until the very end. So it's 24-21. The Gamecocks, with 3:08 to go in the ball game, they put together one of their best drives of the year. 8 plays, 80 yards, 7 runs. Lloyd goes in from 4 yards out for the touchdown. The extra point was blocked, okay, and that's critical. That's critical to some ways. 30-21 at that point. Gamecocks up 9, 3:08 to go. You kind of feel like this game is tucked away. And even later in the later in the quarter, with time running out, the Gamecocks had a chance down deep in A&M territory to kick a field goal, but they went for it on 4th and 1 and got stopped. And so A&M gets the ball back down 9 after the Gamecocks passed on that field goal attempt, and A&M drives it down the field, and they kick a field goal. All right, so that makes it 30-24. That makes it a one-possession ball game. There's only 10 seconds left. A&M onside kick, they recover at midfield. 1 second goes off the clock, 9 seconds left. They throw a couple of incompletions, and the Gamecocks have the victory. So it got a little hairy there towards the end of the ball game. but South Carolina managed to hold on and win. And, it's all about winning. Coaches will tell you it's all about winning. I mean, you want to win pretty, you want to win perfectly, but it's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be perfect, but they'll take the W. The Gamecocks only had 286 yards tonight to 398 for A&M. Gamecocks 168 through the air, 118 on the ground. A&M passed for 269. They had 23 first downs to the Gamecocks 13. They ran 75 plays to the Gamecocks 60. Lloyd had another strong game. He ran hard. He broke a lot of tackles. He is a terrific running back. He had 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Rattler, though his numbers weren't overwhelming, he wasn't all that bad. 12 of 25, 168 yards, but he managed the passing game well. Offensive line gave him ample time on multiple occasions. And if he didn't see something, if he didn't find something open, he threw it away. They had 7 big plays in the passing game, and he averaged 14 yards per completion. So he was hitting some balls down the field. But the main thing was no interceptions, and he protected the football in the passing game. For A&M, A-Chain had 99 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, so they did a much better job on him this year than they did last year at College Station. Haynes King, the quarterback, for most of the game till he got hurt, 17 of 32, 178 yards, a touchdown, and an interception that the Gamecocks turned into points. So looky here, South Carolina is sitting at 5-2. They're back to 500 in the SEC at 2-2. And they will most likely be favored in their next 2 games here in Columbia next week against Missouri, and then on the road in Nashville against Vanderbilt. Gamecocks, if they take care of their business, don't get too caught up in everything, could be looking at a 7-2 mark with the big 3 left down the stretch, Florida, Tennessee, and Clemson. But I think Gamecock fans, I think the coaching staff and all would sign up for that right now, to be sitting on 7 wins as they look at the last 3 games of the season. I thought overall tonight it was a terrific effort by South Carolina. I mean, they really put a lot of heart and soul into this ball game tonight. Offensive line did some good things. Like I said, they protected Rattler well at times. Receivers did some good things. There was a drop by Jalen Brooks in the end zone that could have been a touchdown, maybe should have been a touchdown, hit him in the hands. He was backpedaling. But otherwise, I thought the receivers caught the ball well. I thought Josh Vann had a good night catching the football. We mentioned Leggett and his touchdown return. He also had a big hit on the final kickoff for the Gamecocks, and he hit the return man down deep on the Texas A&M side of the field. So he had a really good special teams night. Kroger had an excellent night punting the football, about 50 yards per punt. He pinned Texas A&M back several times throughout the ball game. He got a game ball, according to Beamer. And then defensively, I mean, the Gamecocks, they were in the backfield. They were putting pressure on the quarterback. They kept Texas A&M from making a lot of big plays. They didn't let A-Chain break loose for 50, 60, 70-yard runs. Stewart, the fine receiver, he had a few catches for A&M, but again, didn't let the big play materialize all that much against them. So they did a good job of keeping things in front of them, and they forced some turnovers. They got another interception, as I mentioned, and that would be 9 interceptions for the Gamecocks this season. And many of those coming in the last, 4 or 5 games after they get off to a very slow start in creating turnovers. So all in all, a terrific night for the Gamecocks. They were underdogs here against Texas A&M. They took that personally. Shane Beamer said he told the team, this is a game you can win. It's time to beat Texas A&M. Go out, play hard, do your thing, and you'll win this ball game. Though he did say they still have to coach better and they have to play better overall. But the bottom line is, Gamecocks walk out of Williams-Brice Stadium tonight with a 6-point win over Texas A&M. They beat the Aggies for the first time. They extend their winning streak to 4, their longest since 2013, and they've set themselves up for a very nice run into November with this football season. Like I said, a chance to get to 7 wins and then take a look at those last 3 and let the chips fall where they may. Okay, check out the post-game press conferences with Beamer and the Gamecock players. Beamer will have his conference call tomorrow night. We'll have that covered for you on our website right here, sportstalksc.com. We'll take your phone calls on Monday night to talk more about it. Thanks for being with us. Brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. Sports Talk at the Stadium from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia.